So, as an athlete, my achievements playing on the US tour for 20 years, making it there, I think was the hardest from India because there was not even a man who'd made it. And when I talked about it, my friends, the members at the golf club used to make fun of me, which aggravated me. And I like to be told you can't do something because I'm just going to show you how to do it. So I motivate in a maybe in a negative manner. We're all different people. We run on different frequencies. It's my journey has been very interesting because when I qualified for the LPGA Tour as the first female and the first Indian, um, I didn't really realize how I did it. I just did it. Visualization, all of this came very natural to me. So I never really thought about it or studied it. I think it came natural to me because of being competitive all the time, trying to cheat in studies. So I had a little criminal mind. So you think, a little outside the box, how to forge your dad's or mom's signature on the report card so they don't find out. I think I'm not telling you guys to do that. I'm definitely not saying do that. I'm just saying that's, what happened to me. So creating different ways, it just came naturally. Now, why did I go into researching it? Is simply because when the last couple years I've started to retire slowly, um, and I was teaching. I've been teaching kids golf and mentoring them for the last 15 years, and they're all from Calcutta. I have about 15 or 20 students, and all my students who wanted to go to the US on scholarship, on a golf scholarship, they all got a golf scholarship. I think I taught them well. But the only thing I couldn't teach them was how did I create that bubble when nothing affected me. So the only reason I started studying it is because I didn't know how to teach it. So it's not something that I've sort of born with or I knew then and I did it. No, the only reason I know now is because I actually wanted to teach it and I couldn't understand how to put that where a regular person would understand the benefits of visualization. My journey started actually by a gentleman who's a close childhood friend of mine by the name, another professional golfer from India, Mr. Digrad Singh. We were just having a casual conversation at lunch, and he said, "Hey, I did this program. It's called IMBO, Intermediate Midbrain Optimization. I suggest you guys research it. The gentleman, Mr. Gunandan Singh, and his wife, Rajveer, learned this technique in Japan, and they are sharing it with children today, all over India, and even traveling internationally and doing it. So my journey on just understanding the brain started with IMBO, but I took it a little further because I'm never satisfied with just one aspect of something. I continue want to be a student my whole life, so I want to learn everything. So I decided to understand the correlation between the mind and the body and spirituality, if you want to call it, because it's a very integral part of our beings. The naysayers can say whatever they want. I have a lot of friends who claim to be atheists. I find it hilarious because you couldn't be an atheist if there wasn't God. So again, it's very ironical. Um, in a short way, I'll give you an understanding of what life really is. It's like a historical record of where you have spent your energy your whole life. That's what your life is. Your mind keeps like data, it's like a data system, and it keeps a historical record of where everywhere you've been and where you spent your energy in life. We only use 5% of our mind consciously. 95% of our mind works subconsciously. Uh, why is it that, like I also research visualization on how to teach it, etc. And I got very superficial uh, thoughts and ideas but it never took me to why does it work for some and why it doesn't work for others. So I think you guys need to write this down because this is very key. It doesn't matter what practice you learn. If you don't learn it the right way, it's not going to be effective. So number one about learning how to visualize is breathing. Uh, don't try and visualize when you're angry or you're upset. Try and keep your breathing calm and normal. So my suggestion is, when you are just about to go to sleep, that time, like 10 minutes before you're going to sleep or 10 minutes after you've woken up, that's when your breathing is the most steady, your mind is very, very calm. Now, I'm telling you that you should do this, but I'll also tell you why you shouldn't do it when you are upset or your breathing is off. When your breathing is off and you're not calm and you're angry or upset or emotional and you try and visualize, the mind starts to create a resistance towards visualization. So when you do it correctly, you're creating something. When you don't do it correctly, you're also creating something, except you're creating the resistance on how to visualize. Breathing is really important. Timing is really important. You must make it fun. It should be enjoyable. Pick a goal that is something lovely. Don't try and visualize negative because, of course, negative also works, unfortunately. And most importantly, try and experience the visualization instead of manipulating it. Meaning, if you are sitting if you want to buy a Mercedes, think of a Mercedes you've seen in a movie, you saw the guy sitting in it, imagine yourself in his place, instead of forcing the Mercedes in your home, and you are opening the door. No, you actually try and like sneak into it, like slip into that visualization instead of forcing it. So when you just trick your mind into it, it sort of has a positive reaction to visualization. And then here starts your creation. And everything comes down to creation. I think the kids at Karo put down something called biofeedback. They said you should research it. Now, biofeedback, the word itself, is extremely ambiguous. There are many different meanings to it. And if you go to Google, it'll tell you 10 different things. So I'll be very specific in making you understand what biofeedback is. It would be like me telling you to feel cold and you're unable to, but I'll bring a block of ice and I'll put your hand on it and your hand will feel cold immediately. Thus, you'll be able to feel it. So biofeedback would be like something similar, except with an EEG. So I'll put the EEG machine on me and I'll watch something calming like waterfalls, and it'll measure how my right brain, my left brain, my heart rate, monitor all of that. And then suddenly it'll show me some shooting and see the changes. And then when I see the changes in the screen of the EEG, that's what biofeedback is. Like, not only did it create and change your internals by something visual. So then suddenly you're like, okay, if I can change it in a negative, that means I can change it in a positive. The technique, this biofeedback, this paper was actually declassified by the US Army in 2003. I think they didn't really share all of this information before, probably because you can also use this negatively, not just positive, it also works in the negative. It can work to control people, mind control, brainwashing. So maybe, I can understand that is the reason why they did not want to share this information, prior. And now with Google and, social media and people talking and all of that, I guess the information is pretty much out, so they thought they might as well declassify it. And plus, I think they have a 20-year statute of limitations on information, and then they have to release it. Do you guys have any questions regarding, before I start? I'm going to do two quick, not really quick, but two visualizations. One is to show you something tangible, and then the real visualization that we can go through. But prior to that, does anybody have any questions regarding this?
Hello, good morning, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hi. So is this the same visualization practice which we do with the vision board?
Not necessarily. There are so many different ways of visualization. You can see a computer screen, you can close your eyes, for you to basically manifest something. The whole point of visualization is manifestation and creation. There are three different ways to do it. One, of course, is hypnosis, which takes about 5 or 6 years. And you have to have lots of trust and belief in the person who's doing it. The other is transcendental meditation. That too takes, 5 to 6 years to do it. But with this, I'm going to teach you how to bypass, hypnosis ignores the conscious. Transcendental meditation, hypnosis blocks the conscious and goes into your subconscious. Transcendental meditation ignores the conscious and goes into the subconscious. And this will basically bring the conscious and the subconscious on the same frequency level, so that you're able to slip into it a lot easier. And the more you practice it, the better you get at it, the better you're going to create. It's literally, for me, it's very simple. Like just during COVID, being stuck in Delhi the whole time in May and June, I was visualizing the hills, and I'm in the hills now. So, and this happens to me all the time. I'm a full believer in it. So I'm not trying to sell you something that I haven't practiced and sort of achieved, and it's tangible. It's right there for the taking. I don't have a magic wand. I don't have a magic wand. I don't have jadoo tona for you, but I have a magic wand for me, just the way you have a magic wand for yourself.
Yes.
It's just learning how to access your
Okay.
your magic wand, if you want to call it.
To be honest, I've just completed reading The Secret and the Magic book, and I myself have practiced using the vision board. And I've seen like almost 3 to 4 things work out in the quarantine. I'm really glad to, look forward to listening more about this from you. Thank you.
Oh, not at all. My pleasure here.